The Pro Show is brought to you by Rockin' Media and our proprietary Flash HDR photo process, providing you with the best, most realistic photos of your property. See the difference at rockinmedia.com. Hi, and welcome to the Pro Show. I'm Rick Machle. On today's show, we're talking about Littleton. Littleton is a suburb of Denver. It's on the southwest side of town, and we're going to be talking about all that it has to offer and what are the price points, different types of properties. We'll also be talking to Nancy about how you can increase your equity in your home. In addition to that, Greg's on board to talk about rentals. That's all next on the Pro Show. Joining me today is LaVerne Brookie from Coldwell Banker Realty, their Denver West office. Hi, LaVerne. How are you?
Hi, Rick. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. You probably recognize LaVerne. She's been on the Pro Show many times before, but today we are going to focus on the west side, southwest side of the Denver metro area, kind of the Littleton area, and talk about what's going on down there. But before we do that, LaVerne, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up?
So I'm originally from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay.
And I still have a lot of family down there, and I do go down there and visit often. My folks are down there. So coming here in Colorado is not far from home.
No.
I love the Denver area, and I've been here since '97. So I've been here a minute.
Okay. So you were like 10 at the time in '97, right?
Not hardly.
So what'd you do after high school?
So after high school, I went to college at UNM, and
Okay.
then when I was in college, I worked worked for a mortgage company, actually savings and loan,
Really?
and that was in the '80s.
In the '80s, the SNL days.
Yeah. Yes, and as a matter of fact, I worked for a company that back in the savings and loan days when the feds went in, and because there was a lot of misuse of money in the savings and loan.
Right.
And got the company I worked with got kind of caught up in that. And so it was shortly after that I decided that real estate, being a realtor, being on the other side of the desk is really where I felt comfortable at.
Yeah, as long as you do all those rules, which can be simpler, you don't end up in jail, because there were a lot of people in the SNL days that I remember that went to jail because of some of the fraud that was going on. So I know you weren't part of that, and you weren't even at that level, but
I was in college, and I was processing loans, and I was like, this is not where I want to be.
well, and with your personality, I think processing loans was probably a little too boring for you, and getting out and meeting with people. But meeting people, is a good thing. So you've been doing real estate for how long?
I was licensed in 1991.
Okay. So
and yeah.
I believe you may be the longest licensed on our show, that had your license for the longest time, which makes you a true pro. So that's why you're on the Pro Show. Well, it's great having you on. Let's talk about what's going on in the market. Let's take a quick look at the February statistics. These are provided to us by the Denver Metro Association of Realtors, and this is their market trends report, and these are month-over-month statistics. The median close price was up 4.35% to $599,990. The closed home sales were up 8.52% to $2,573. Sales volume was also up 11.18% to $1.81 billion. The months of inventory was down 2.35% to 3.3 months. The median days in the MLS was down 35.56% to 29 days. And the active listings was up 11.26 to 85.54. And the new listings were up 11.17 to 48.28. Pending sales were also up 22.42% to 35.16. So, LaVerne, it looks like all the numbers are probably going in the right direction, especially for February. Isn't that a little unique this time of year?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's the seasonality. we should be looking at, more inventory coming in, and we are.
Okay.
It was really stagnant late fall and into the coming year. and now we're seeing a lot more movement. I actually expected to see more movement earlier than now because we're now into March.
True.
And those numbers that you gave, where you
February.
are February's. So I like the trend. It's a good sign.
And what we're experiencing on the photography side, I don't know whether it's different, is that the listings are a little bit higher than last year, but it feels like they're a lot more because we seem to slow down so much more during the holidays and the election season this year. Is that what you found too?
Oh, for sure. It was, like I said, pretty stagnant. Instead of having multiple showings for the few listings that we had, the buyers weren't even really out. So the sellers weren't really motivated to list their properties and plan a move. And the buyers weren't really, interested in the interest rates and even the inventory that we had at the time. But now, the last couple of weeks, it's really, I'm personally getting more listings, and definitely offers. Last week, I had to compete with my buyer for multiple offers. So it's picking up.
So we're definitely seeing a change as we head into the spring. And I think what we should do now is kind of break it down. So now we're in the southwest part of the metro area, and we can look at some of what's going on. And this is the sales inventory growth year over year. And it's February 2024, there were only 42 listings in the 80123 area, which is just to the west of downtown Littleton. And this year there are 92. So that's like 121% increase. And last year in the kind of downtown Littleton area, there were 21, and this year there are 44. And then as we go down to the 80128 zip code down in the Carroll area, it went from 22 to 57, or 162%. So does that seem like it's probably what you're seeing out there?
Definitely. More inventory. And those are all of those zip codes, great great values in that. A lot going on in those areas.
And then if we look at days on market are up year over year. They're down a little bit, as we saw, I think, on a macro level month over month. But year over year, last year there were 26 days on the market. This year there are 46 days on market. In downtown Littleton, there are 53 days on market versus 34. And down in the Carroll area, it's 79 versus 20. So days on market are up, but a lot of that's probably some of that inventory, right?
Kind of go. Yeah, but I wanted, because your statistics there are saying it's both multi-living and single-family residents.
True. This is the whole market.
Most of those numbers, multi-families, our condominiums and our townhomes, are taking a lot more days on market. So that's kind of skewing our detached single-family home numbers as well.
Okay.
But yes, overall, we are seeing a little bit longer on days on market, and I think that speaks to what the buyers are. The buyers are taking their time rather than having knee-jerk reactions with making offers, quickly. They're actually taking some time because they can.
Right.
And, there's less buyers to compete with that's out there. So
that's good insight, because people, as you said, you had multiple offers going. So the right property priced right, I'm sure it's like every market. It will have those aspects. And of course, these, just to let everyone know, this comes from the Reventure app dashboard, and they're pulling them from Realtor.com and Zillow and a number of other areas. But I think these numbers are mainly Realtor. And the median list price, not sales price, in 80123, the median list price was up from $586 to $645 year over year. In the Littleton area, downtown Littleton, it's down 16.6%. And over here in the Carroll area, it's up 1.8% from $610,500 to $621,850. And of course, these are all property types combined again. So you've got a lot that are a lot more expensive, and I think some that are a little bit less expensive. And then if we go to the new listing count, here again, year over year, the new listings are up 77%, way on the west side. In the west side of Santa Fe, we have 57% increase in new listings, and then the new listings are up 60% in Littleton. And then if we go down here to the 80128, they're only up 5% from 40 listings last year to 42. So it's about the same year over year. So as we said, it seems like the South Metro area is also tracking with most of the metro area, right now.
Yeah. I've been around a long time. I've seen a lot of different markets. And, what most recent years has been the interest rates. Interest rates are, making people kind of take a pause as to whether getting into the market is the right thing to do or not. Honestly, life happens. And, people are going to buy and sell real estate in any market.
Right.
Of course, some markets are better than others. But, we are kind of seeing too, some people are with their investment properties, when we're talking people who are landlords and they want to liquidate a lot of those. I think a lot of those numbers are coming from that. It's just our investors are liquidating.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. And as always, what I've been hearing from a lot of the other agents that have been on previous weeks, are you seeing people are just coming to understand this is the new interest rate realm, and that's helping them make a decision?
It's the interest rate. We were just gifted some really low interest rates for a long time. And the struggle too with a lot of these sellers that are holding on to these really low interest rates, and let's say they have to move because of jobs or something that's going on in their life, they are really struggling to get rid of that low interest rate. So it's taken a lot of pause for that. But then, like I said, eventually life happens. A move is imminent for most.
What is surprising to me, having watched this now for a couple of years, where the interest rates have been pretty relatively high and relatively stable, is that the prices went up when the interest rates went down, because your payment, you could buy more house or you could pay a higher price for the house because your interest rate was so low. But now that interest rates are up, it's interesting that the prices have stayed stable. And I think that must be an inventory thing, right?
It's definitely a demand. I mean, there's still a demand for people are still wanting. I mean, we still have a housing need. People still don't want to be tenants. They don't want to be renters, and they want to get into the market. And they're realizing it's the market is what the market is. Get into the market. And overall, they're still doing much better than renting because, as we know, rent is 100% interest.
Are you, with your buyers, are you encouraging them to be more aggressive on offers as far as price or concessions or things like that?
I do a deep dive with we do a market analysis. Sometimes we have to really evaluate where the numbers are. Okay. And does it make sense? I don't want my buyers to overpay for a property. I don't want to write those reckless offers that, we have seen in the past. So we still stay very careful and very conservative with our buyers and getting into a property. So it's all relative. But, for the property that we did have to compete with, great condition, starting price was a great price. And that's what we need to do. And that's what I would say with sellers is prepare your property.
But it's property specific. So if you've seen something that's been on since October, it could be it was just over the holidays, but you might have your buyer be a little more aggressive, right, on what they're asking to pay. Yeah. Joining me is Nancy Alexander from Smart Mortgage Services. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Rick.
Well, great to have you on. So tell me, today we're going to talk about gaining equity in your property. And I think there are two different ways. What's the easiest way, I guess?
Well, I don't know if one is easier than the other, right? That it's going to gain equity naturally within the marketplace because of, the rate of return. Why we buy real estate is because the rate of return it gives us. So if that rate of return in your marketplace is, we'll make it easy and say it's 10%, and you have a loan that's $100,000 loan, right? 10% of that is 10 grand. In the next year, it should be worth 110,000. just by that natural equity building within the marketplace. So that's one way to do it.
Okay.
Right. The other way to do it is the way that you make your mortgage payments.
Okay. And just to back up a second on the first way, if you have, we'll take a $500,000 loan, you're getting $50,000, but that's not absolutely true, right? Markets go up, they go down.
It's not absolutely, yeah, that's right. It's not absolutely true. And it really depends on what market you're in, right? Are you in southeast, southwest, northeast, et cetera, of the country? And where you're buying real estate, that's one of the questions to ask your realtor is, what is rate of return right now on the real estate that I'm buying? And you know as well as I do, so much of it is about location.
Yeah.
Location.
And it's like every asset. Some go up, some go down. And so you want to buy smart. And even when you buy smart, the markets change. And so I just don't come back to us and say, Nancy said I'm going to get a 10% return on my house. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Okay.
I would like to give everybody 10%, 20%.
But it doesn't necessarily work that way. Anybody who lived through 2008 knows that they had some markets had a minus 50% equity. Right. So they were upside down by 50% if they bought their house and the market crashed. So hopefully it doesn't happen again, but it can happen. So you were talking about then the ability to your payments build equity too, correct?
Correct. So depending on how you pay your payments, you've got an AM schedule, don't you?
I do. Okay, let's take a look at that.
Yeah, let's put that up because pictures are worth 1,000 words.
Okay.
So you go ahead and go through what you've set up here.
Okay, so we have a loan amount of $450,000. It's a 30-year term and about a 6.25%, and we're having the loan start in March of 2025. So talk about this right side.
So here's where people, all of us that are consumers, because I have mortgages as well, that monthly payment, that $27.71, that's principal and interest, right? That's not escrow. So you still have to add your taxes, your homeowner's insurance, your mortgage insurance, if you put less than 20% down, your HOA, to say this is my total obligation. But for right now in an AM schedule, we're looking at principal and interest.
Okay.
Then total interest paid. That's your total interest paid over a 30-year window if you make your payments exactly as the schedule has you do it.
Okay.
Right? So you're paying the bank to use their money.
Right.
In this instance, $547,462. Total cost of the loan, principal and interest, the $997,462. Right?
Yep.
Done in March 2055. Again, that states you're at a 30-year amortization.
But in the beginning, you're not paying a lot toward principal, correct?
You're not paying hardly anything towards principal because it's an amortized loan.
Okay, so at the beginning, it looks like we've got this principal paid of $427 and interest paid is $23.44. Do you want to look at the schedules and maybe you can explain how to read these?
Yeah, let's do. Let's absolutely.
Okay, so let's look at 2025. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here a little bit.
So this is a great breakdown. So, you're looking at April as your first month, right? So you've got $429.98 that you're paying in principal, the $23.43.75 in interest. And again, you guys, when you're doing an amortized loan, a car loan is an amortized loan,
right.
A home loan is an amortized loan. You're paying the lender back first. That's why there's so much interest loaded up front, because the lender wants their money back to be able to go and loan it to the next consumer, etc. Go to on a 30-year fix, Rick. If you go to, I think, about 17 years in. Okay. So what does that put you at?
That puts us at 44, something like that.
Yeah, 2044. All right.
In May.
That sounds right.
Okay.
So now look at your principal and interest. Interest is your first column, so you're at $1374.11 up here in January, right? You're at $1396.61. So you've now turned the tide. You're paying more. Your second column is principal, so you're now paying more to your principal than what you are your interest. So that's, again, if you pay according to this plan and you pay nothing additional. So we were having a great discussion, everybody, before we came on board and doing this, saying, all right, if you take your principal and interest payment and you divide that out by 12 and you make one extra, you just divide that out by 12, I think that came out to $230 and change, and you make that every single month.
Okay.
Right? Consistently, month in, month out. You'll shorten that amortization down to about a 20-year, 21-year term. So it shortens your amortization, which in turn reduces your overall interest.
Okay,
Right?
and that's because you're making additional principal payments. Therefore, you are not ending up having as much interest charge because they're just recalculating it. And in the end, I mean, you're still making the same payment if you have a 30-year fixed mortgage payment, but you only need to, so you keep paying the same amount. You can't go, well, I paid that extra payment, I don't need to pay this month.
No, you're still paying your $27.71 plus your escrow. Right. And you're still making your original payment, but you're taking that one extra payment, that additional money's divided by 12, right?
Yep.
And you're making that as an additional only to your principal. So you're reducing your principal as you go along, which in turn shortens your amortization, reduces your overall interest that you paid. So if you have the dollars, the additional in this case, 200, I did it on my calculator, I believe it was, $230.91. If you have that every month, if you can shift that from some other source and pay it towards your principal, it's a beautiful thing, right? If you want to double that, now you're bringing it down to about a 17-year.
Okay.
Right. Well, you and I talked about why don't you just automatically do a 15-year out of the gate?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because life happens, and you may, and if you've done a 15-year to begin with, you're forced to make that additional payment, right?
That's right. That's right. We've always called it a forced savings plan on a 15. It's a beautiful loan, you guys, because the minute your first payment on a 15-year amortization, you're paying more towards principal than what you are towards interest.
Right.
So very different than the 30-year amortization. But can you pick up that additional payment on the 15-year out of the gate as you're getting started with your home buying process becomes the question.
Sounds important information. And of course, if you want to have Nancy pull an amortization schedule for you, you can probably reach out to her, and I'm sure she'd love to pull one and send it to you. And then you can see where you're at. She can put in all the same numbers that we showed here on the screen. And once again, thanks again, Nancy, for being with us, and look forward to seeing you again next week. One of the decisions you need to make is if you are going to buy in the southwest part of Denver, where should you be looking? And so just to orient you, this is downtown Denver, and we're going to be looking south of the 285 corridor, which is down here. And if we zoom in to using Zillow, this is a great way to look at properties, as you probably all know. I'm going to start out with the drawing around up here in the Sheridan, Littleton, Beaumar area. So tell me a little bit about what's going on with this area.
You know, the really great thing about that area is it's accessibility. It's close to highways. It's close to commuting. You know, you can get around town. You know, you're centrally located. Great restaurants nearby. Great shopping nearby. Also, you know, you can quickly, if you want to get to the mountains, you know, you could quickly grab 285 and head west, which, you know, here in Colorado, our suburbia people, it's where they want to spend the weekends is in the mountains. So they really look at, you know, how can I quickly get on a highway and either go west to the mountains or go downtown to the tech center, whatever where work might be.
So is this area an older developed area? Was this more
older homes?
Okay.
You've got a few small pockets of newer homes. I can't, you know, like I said, very small pockets of newer homes, but most of those were older. There's a couple of those little pockets. Like Beaumar is just a wonderful, great little neighborhood with some large lots and some custom homes in that Beaumar area. Always a very hot area, but those were if they need to be updated. Most of them, if they're original, they're really old. So a lot of them have been updated. You do see a lot closer to downtown. You'll see a lot of properties that have not necessarily been scraped, but definitely gutted for those, and then you've got some really wonderful sales prices in those areas, especially if they've been remodeled.
So it looks like right now that's currently for sale as of the middle of March. You do have a 3.5 mil over in that area.
Right there in Beaumar. Look at that.
Yeah, over in Beaumar. And so you can pay a lot if you like. Beaumar is a great area to buy, but there are a lot of what we would consider to be median cost homes over in that area too, in the 670s type range too, correct?
Yeah. You got a couple of mid-century moderns in that area, which are always fun to see.
A lot of townhomes and condos too, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's travel down. I'm going to remove that boundary, and let's travel down to Littleton, downtown Littleton area, and we'll kind of draw around this area here and see what we got in this area. So this is kind of more also a kind of a mature area as well, correct?
You know what? It's a mature area. They used to build, these lots with some carriage homes. And then what they've done over the years is maybe subdivide that property. So you might have a nice little, like a brownstone with and then the lot divided with a carriage house. Those are doing really, really well, just because the location in the city. It's walkability. You can walk and get coffee. Those are great areas. But then you also have what developers have done is, made some multi-family neighborhoods. Again, for the walkability, but that gives you lots of condominiums, lots of townhomes that are doing quite well in that area as well.
And let's see, what's the most expensive one for sale today in that area? 3.5. Okay. Probably because I grabbed part of that Marston area.
Yeah, I think you grabbed some of Beaumar.
I got the Belmar in there. So why don't we move a little bit further west and go over to like this Columbine Valley, Columbine Heights area and talk about that. What's going on over in this area?
That Columbine area is a little bit older. You've got some very unique little pockets of neighborhood. There's my list right there. So you've got that's where it's very suburbia, great schools. You've got a little bit of mix of Jefferson County and Denver County in that area. And what I really like about these areas and the counties that you're looking at is we've got really reasonable property taxes.
Okay.
With the exception of the newer pockets. If you're buying new homes, you really want to look at what your real estate property taxes are going to be, because there's a lot padded in those taxes from the developers.
So it looks like in this area, you can get, actually, if they've got a new home for sale that is in the 2.5, 2.4 range.
And that's going to be, so we've got this Columbine Country Club area right in there, and you also have the Polar Reserve in that area.
Okay.
Again, very unique, very high-end homes. Great lots in there. And
then you also have some that are, once again, more in the median price range. And condos.
Very affordable.
Condos in the fours, and here's even a 4-bedroom, 1-bath house for sale. Probably looks like it must be a townhome because it's got a number on it. So
I think that's...
So, but it's a great part of town in there. I love that part of town. And then as we continue over to the west and we come over here and look at Kipling Hills, what's going on over here?
This is Jefferson County. This is the heart. Well, you've got, again, great property taxes, very affordable, very reasonable, good schools in this area. And it's just very suburbia. Right. You get golf courses in there. You get good restaurants, good shopping. A lot of trails. One thing I do like about not only Jefferson County, but the whole Denver metro area has done a really good job with merging trails and open space inside of our neighborhoods. So you might find that you have small lots, but then you can be just a short bike ride away until you're on a great bike ride that'll take you into the foothills, and a lot of outdoor living or outdoor fun recreational activities.
And this area is right along C-470, and it's a lot of new construction, correct?
Again, small pockets of new construction.
Right.
There's a brand new in the King Carroll area right off of
King Carroll Avenue.
King Carroll and 470.
Right in here.
Brand new homes, yeah. And they're hovering right around 470. You've got Lennars in there and Toll Brothers in there.
Right.
Good floor plans. Again, super close to trails and a golf course actually right there too.
Exactly. Well, let's pop over to King Carroll and talk about that. Most people don't know. It's behind the Hogback, right? Which, if you don't know,
King Carroll actually blends both on the east and west side of 470.
Okay.
Is part of the whole King Carroll community.
Right.
There on the west side, it's called King Carroll Valley, and King Carroll Valley is super unique in that, I mean, you've got, of course, trails that only residents have access to, which makes it, not quite as crowded as some of those trails get to be. They also have this really great horse community. So they've got stables inside of there. Again, you have to be a resident to be able to board your horse there. But that is a huge benefit, and that people are looking for, that you can actually just, walk down the street and get to your horse and then ride on the trails. The homes out there, probably the newest home was built in the early 90s. So they're a little older, but some of them have been really, really well maintained, well remodeled. Very high price point in that community, but it's super unique.
Yeah, and as you can see, we're looking at a little over $1 minimum for the 6 or 7. Not a lot for sale. People love living there, and they don't tend to move, do they? Don't see a lot of turnover. And then as we head south of Chatfield area, and actually I'll probably draw a little bit more of the King Carroll Ranch Plains area in here too. What's going on in this area? Yeah,
actually I've got a listing right in there. So this is it's not all King Carroll, but you're coming across as like unincorporated Jefferson County.
Right.
What the draw is with this neighborhood is accessibility to 470 and commuting. Like if you want to go again west to the mountains, super quick onto 470. If your work is in the tech center, or, into the hospitals that are going to be east of us, you're, again, very, very close to commuting. Nice homes, nice developments in there. You've got a huge mix of both large single family plus patio homes and condominiums.
It's also a really, really good area. There's some commercial over here on the south side of 470. If you've got commercial office buildings over here, so I know some people who work on those.
You have Lockheed Martin, who is a huge employer.
Yep.
Right in there as well. So that's a big pool too for those folks that want to live close to work and live in suburbia. Lockheed Martin is a huge employer there.
Yeah, Lockheed's down in this area, aren't they? Right in here, somewhere like that.
They also have an office there in King Carroll Ranch.
Oh, that's right. They have one up here too. Yeah, so it's really close. And then if we head also south of King Carroll and but also around this 470 area, these are single family, or are there a lot of townhomes? Oh, it looks like a bunch of townhomes.
A lot of townhomes there. And again, good suburbia mix. Some new, you've got that little Meadowbrook Heights down there. It's a really nice neighborhood where you've got a lot of custom homes down there. You've got larger lots and a lot of people able to do more of, again, unique type of buildings. You can have outbuildings and whatnot in that neighborhood.
And I think we talked a little bit about Columbine, but why don't we see what else is over here down in the southern part of the Columbine area. Tell me about this area.
So Columbine Knolls is always a neighborhood that is it just always stays solid. And I think because when the developer built it, they built it on good good sized lots.
Okay.
And I used to say this used to be where the before, it was one of the first developments. I'm talking about Columbine Knolls, and this was what they were probably building these in the late 70s, early 80s. There wasn't a lot going on when these houses were being built there. So they were like people with a lot of money were coming in and building these big homes, and they still seem to sustain their value. And then around that, you can see a lot of multifamily in there that was built around there. Again, Jefferson County, great schools, lot of activity going on around there. Again, what I like about these areas here and the way that Jefferson County and Denver did is you've got so many trails that'll take you up and down the Platte, east and west. So a lot of reasons to get going in there.
Let's move a little bit further east. And what is going on in this area? It looks like a lot of parks and lakes.
Yes. And you have Columbine Country Club in there, and they do have a golf course. It's a really nice, it's not super huge, but it's just a nice community. And then right next to it, as you could see, you've got the Platte River right there.
Yeah.
And then what developers have done up and down Santa Fe, you've got some great shopping, you've got some great restaurants and breweries,
All right.
just a lot.
Right along the Santa Fe corridor here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apple.
And then you also have Arapahoe Community College.
And the Apple
which
Store.
is, and the Apple Store there in Aspen Grove. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The community college is nearby, too. So it's a great area for that. So.
And then also let's talk, too, about the RTD and the community and the commute.
Sure.
That RTD offers you. So you've got several spots on Santa Fe there.
Oh, right.
For your RTD stop and ride or park and ride. So, you can pick up either on Mineral, right on in Santa Fe. You can pick up the RTD, and that'll take you all the way downtown. You can even switch from at Union Station and ride that RTD over to the airport if you wanted to. But that is a great, people who are sports fans, concert lovers, anybody that doesn't want to fight the traffic when they go to an event downtown, RTD is their way to get to and from the city.
And if you work there, it's a great way to get down there too.
Yeah.
And it's real convenient, real easy to make your way through there. So, hey, I really appreciate you taking us on this tour of an area that you know quite well. And
well, many times I feel like a tour guide.
Exactly. Well, and it's good to know because people are like, well, what should I do? I'm trying to make a decision on where to live. And Southwest has always been a popular area, no matter what. And now that, for the last, how long has light rail been in? 20 years now? Probably.
At least, yep.
Yeah, 20, 25 years. It's made living down there and even getting to downtown Denver a lot more convenient if you work down there. And then 470, they've put in the HOV lane to get to the tech center. So if you don't mind paying a little bit more, you can skip a lot of the traffic that used to be terrible along that C470 corridor. So it's got a lot of convenience, and you're easy up to the mountains, which is also great. Recently, I talked with another agent about staging the front yard. This week, I want to talk about the backyard with LaVerne. And the backyard, you think, or if you live in a condo, maybe you only have a back patio or a back deck, but they do need to be staged, right?
Rick, this is one of my very favorite things because I actually, in my own personal home, outdoor living. I mean, let's talk about outdoor living. And I don't care if you're in a condo, a patio home,
right.
If you've got a giant yard. Our weather out here in Colorado is just, let's exclude the winter.
Well, good thing we're heading into spring. So
we've got, three to four seasons. We really have just fantastic weather.
Right.
People like to live in their backyard. They like to, barbecue or just sit and read or, just enjoy their space. And outdoor living is huge. And it's also adds a lot of value to your homes if you really, trick out your backyard. And let's talk about pergolas, some covered porches.
Mm-hmm.
Those go a long way. Add a little bit of lighting, and you can have lovely evenings in the back.
So
You definitely want some flower beds, and you want, you don't have to overdo it with flowers but boy, it's sure, our climate out here just allows for so much of your outdoor enjoyment.
So are you trying to paint a picture when you're with your outdoor staging, or, like, oh, this is a place to come out and hang, or what are you trying to do with your outdoor staging besides obviously clean up?
So you really, you want to create a story in your backyard of how much you love it and enjoy it, between water features, and you maybe have a little bit of audio happening, with a water feature, a hot tub. Let's talk about a hot tub in the winter, where you can, enjoy the outdoors while it's snowing outside. That's just super lovely. And then just enjoying. So you want to create just like you would with, if you were staging or, wanted to create a story about how you could enjoy a finished basement and how you live down there, you also want to do the same thing for your backyard.
So if you've got a big flat area, would you put out a, like maybe some sort of game that you could have out there, that cornball, what do they call that? Corn something? Yeah. Or it's not pickleball, but where you throw the bags. It's like Target anyway. But having different games.
Cornhole. It's cornhole.
Cornhole. That's it. Yeah. So do you find that you want to have that kind of set up for showing so that people can see, oh, this is a great place to play?
If you have a large yard, which not everybody,
sure.
Here in Colorado, we don't have a lot of huge large yards. If you have that, it's huge to just maybe put, maybe a badminton thing or something going on back there. But mostly it's put a fire pit back there.
Okay.
And put some chairs around a fire pit. It just gives you that, that feeling like, you could just sit around and have a really enjoyable visit with friends and family.
And I'm assuming if you've got a patio or a deck, even if you're in a condo, you want to have like a table with chairs and maybe put out some lemonade or something, when you're doing a showing, right?
It's helpful. Yeah. Just to, you don't want to go crazy. You just kind of want, I've even thought of just, a chair, a comfy chair with a book and a pillow or a blanket back there,
Well, as we both know, dogs tend to be in the backyard. So what should we do with dogs? Because not necessarily the dog themselves, but dogs do what dogs do. And how important is it to clean up before showings, though? Get rid of the dog waste.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? Colorado is a huge dog community.
Yep.
We love our dogs, but we don't want to hear them.
Right.
We don't want to smell them. And we definitely, we want to protect them as well. And so, if you've got your house on the market and you have dogs, you want to take them out of the home because those dogs are protecting their space.
Right.
So we want to take care of the dogs. In addition, people love their dogs. They don't love your dogs. So they don't want to see your dog's mess in the backyard, whether it's, dog waste, a torn up dog toy. Right. Dog toy. They don't want to see that. So it's just like, when you're inside, you want to depersonalize it. You also want to do the same thing for your yard. And it's probably the same true if they're not dog people. There are a few of them. There aren't very many, but especially if they're not dog people.
yeah, exactly. You want to depersonalize, make them think, oh, this could be a yard without a dog. But that does bring me to fencing. And what do you recommend relative to the condition of fencing when you're trying to sell your home? Fencing it's not
in some cases you could say, oh, that's my fence or it's my neighbor's fence.
Right.
There's no clear line. It's really neighbors getting along with neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how are you going to do your fence? But I also believe the best neighbor is a neighbor who has a good fence between the two of you. So it's, it's a sign. It shows a sign when you see a good, the house being completely fenced. It just shows a sign that, you've got respect all around.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, there are quite a few neighborhoods, covenant controlled neighborhoods, HOA neighborhoods that have restrictions on fencing.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say those neighborhoods will be just a split rail fence.
Right.
So you don't have the privacy fence. And that's okay too, just understanding that that's the rule, the guideline in this neighborhood. In those cases, a lot of people, because those fences are just split rails, they don't necessarily have a fence. And I think a lot of people, what I'm hearing is they'll use an electric fence for their pets. Mm-hmm. If you don't have an actual physical fence. And those are just options that you can have for your pets.
But you want it to be in good condition, right? If you've got rails, I mean, we get a lot of wind, and sometimes that abuses our fences. So when you go on the market, you probably want the fence, especially if it's on your property line, to be in good shape and not have holes in it, right?
So if you have not maintained your fence and you put your house on the market, your buyer will consider that fence probably, a $5,000 expense to them. When in reality, maybe the seller, you can hire a handyman or it might be a $500 expense. So you really have to weigh, the fact, what is the buyer going to look at as an expense that they've got to repair or fix? You as a seller really need to internalize that and say, in reality, I could get this and then not have to have this as a negotiating item as we get down the road.
So take care of it up front. Mm-hmm. And obviously, as we head into spring, we're going to want to have our lawns mowed, correct? Through the summer, for showings especially, right?
Yes. And it's just a matter of maintenance. It's that everyday maintenance. Mm-hmm. Take care of, just like you want the interior of your house cleaned, you want your outside. You're going to vacuum on the inside. You're going to mow on the outside. There's nothing better than smelling fresh cut grass too. And buyers, there's always those senses that buyers have when you're looking at homes. And it's, of course, this one, you've got your sense of smell that you really want to take advantage of.
Of course, decks want to be in good condition too, and patios need to be clean, correct? We're heading out of the winter, and sometimes snow's been on there for the whole winter, and want to make sure that it's well stained, looks good, correct?
Mm-hmm. The worst thing, I don't like seeing a deck that has peeling paint. It brings up a lot of concerns, and that is, peeling paint around the house. Lenders don't like seeing that.
Right.
So that could even be a financial objection.
Right.
So yes, we definitely want to make sure that we've got we don't have peeling paint. We've got a well-stained deck, well-maintained deck. We want to make sure that you don't have creaky boards, broken boards. That's just one of those things that you need to take care of.
And I think lighting is going to be great if you wanted, especially if LaVerne wants to do a twilight shoot, because if you've got good lighting in the backyard, it can really make the backyard pop when we do our photos.
That's something I always ask my sellers. Have you put some lighting in the front yard or the backyard? Because I need to know that, because my marketing is it's not one size fits all. Mm-hmm. And so if they don't have the outdoor lighting, then that's good to know. Then we won't schedule twilight pictures.
Right.
But if we have some good outdoor lighting and some, something that needs to be enhanced, then we want to just absolutely schedule that twilight photo shoot.
And what's great is with the LED lights you can buy, it's a really affordable way to deck out like a pergola, and have it. And if you have an evening showing, it's great for people to walk out and go, oh, look at this place. It's really nice.
Throw them all up. Yeah, get the lights up.
And go to Home Depot and get the little solar ones that can go along a path if you've got a little path in the back, so that it kind of just dresses
up. They even have, if you've got a privacy fence, and again, not a lot. You don't want to, light up but just subtle lights along the fence also look really nice.
Yeah, those ones that just hang right on the side about every 10 feet or so, just so when you're out there looking, it makes it pop. And I think that's really important. Any other tips?
Again, just clean up the yard, all, the entire front, back, the sides of the house, remove trash. Nobody wants to see, torn up furniture.
Right.
Just get rid of stuff.
Yeah. If your furniture's old and torn up, better to not have it, right?
Better to not have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just makes people think, my rule is nobody wants to buy a used home. So have things look new and fresh, right?
Yeah.
Well, joining us every week is Rick Machle from Real Property Management of Colorado, and he is joining us to talk about rentals, and it's great to see you again, Greg. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Rick. Great to see you as well.
So last week we talked about what tenants can do in order to have a good relationship with their landlords. Let's flip that around, and what do you think that landlords can do to keep a good tenant?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the first thing actually mirrors our part of the conversation last week, which is landlords can do anything that they can to foster a good relationship with their tenant. That goes so far in terms of mutual respect for each other and taking care of the property, to make sure it's habitable, make sure the furnace is in good shape and windows and doors and locks. But it can be cosmetic things too. Like if an accent wall has not been painted for 5 years, well, it's time to change and paint the accent wall. Clean the carpets, for your tenants. In between tenants, make sure that the home is in the same condition, minus general wear and tear, that you would want the home to be in when the tenant gives it to you back. So that's the first thing. The second thing also mirrors what we talked about last week, but it's making sure that you have a lease that gives you all the rights as a landlord that Colorado affords you, but not crossing into the line of where you're crossing over into tenants' rights. Judges, as you might imagine, they frown on that. And that's a good way to get your hand slapped, in Colorado. And then I think the last thing is periodically just taking the time to drop by the house, check on the property, further establish that relationship with the tenant, et cetera. Those things go a long way to making sure it's just a good, positive rental experience.
But as we talked about in previous episodes, make sure, you're not just dropping in unannounced. Kind of say, I'd love to come by and just see how you're doing, right?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, in Colorado, basically, the law states that you have to give a minimum of 24 hours notice unless it's some type of an emergency. So if you're just going to drop by to check on the property, well, that's not an emergency. But if you're going by and it's Christmas break and the tenants are out of town and you go by and there's water pouring out of the garage and that's where the hot water heater is, well, now you got an emergency on your hands and you do have the right to go in and address that particular emergency related situation.
And obviously maybe being a little lenient if somebody's, been with you for 2 years and maybe one rent payment's like 2 days late, not being a jerk about it, right?
Totally the case. Yeah, grace just goes a long way. Like, just extend them some grace. We're all going to make mistakes. People are going to have, life is going to happen. And you were in the emergency room, or you were in the hospital, or you were out of town and
couldn't get back.
It could be, you couldn't get back, like to get your, checkbook and go pay if you still are writing checks, which some tenants do. And so make no mistakes about it. It's having a little grace as a landlord goes a long, long way.
And of course, having that relationship, most likely your tenant's going to call you and go, hey, I'm out of town. We're stuck in a Buffalo snowstorm. Can you, I'll get back and get it paid. We should be back on Tuesday, and that's a couple of days late. Sorry about this. But that goes to that whole relationship piece, right?
Yep, sure does. And most landlords, if you just keep them updated on those kinds of things, most landlords will just say, hey, listen, totally understand, not a big deal. give me the check when you get back.
Sounds great. Well, as always, awesome advice for everybody. And if you want to get a hold of Greg or his team, you can do so by calling on the number, whether you're a landlord or a tenant. And as always, appreciate you having on the show. Thanks, Greg.
My pleasure, Rick. Thanks for having me again.
It's time to find out about LaVerne's favorites. This is a great time to find out a little bit more about her. So tell me a little bit about what your favorite food is.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm from New Mexico. It would have to be authentic New Mexican,
Okay.
which is really hard to find in Colorado. I always tell people that my favorite Mexican restaurant is in my kitchen because I get my green chili from Albuquerque.
So Mexican food. Any specific? Do you like burritos, tacos?
Huevos rancheros.
Perfect. Awesome. And what about your favorite pastime?
Well, I play golf. My favorite pastime is to play golf. I love a lot of things about golf, and I love that here in Colorado, we've got many, many golf courses. I always remember one of my favorite times when my kids it was late spring. I had one son that was skiing up in the mountains, one son that was on Chatfield on a boat, and I was playing golf, and we all had dinner together that evening. So nothing is too far away. And again, I'll be on the golf course when time permits.
Love that. What's your favorite type of music or band?
I'm an 80s girl, so soft 80s rock.
Yeah. And do you have a favorite band?
I love Stevie Nicks. Fleetwood Mac would have been one of my favorites then back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Favorite place to visit in Colorado?
Oh gosh, Estes Park.
Okay, love it.
I could also go onto the Western Slope, but Estes Park it's just always, in all seasons, it's just a lovely, lovely place to visit.
It is. And what about favorite place to visit in the entire world?
I'm not a huge traveler, but I do like to go to Hawaii. And I would say Oahu is probably my favorite island. Yeah.
Well, when you're in your industry, you need to get away. And that's a great place to go. What's your favorite restaurant? And this could be here or in Albuquerque.
Oh gosh.
Or both.
I can't really say I've got a favorite restaurant.
Okay.
Because it would really depend on what kind of mood I'm in for food. I do like, for restaurants though, for me to go to, I like to maybe go somewhere a little that's not a long drive. So maybe go up to Morrison and eat at Tony Rigatoni's, or maybe one of the small little places up on Morrison Road.
Okay.
I like to just kind of go to someplace unique.
Okay. And favorite time of the year?
Oh, summer or fall.
Golf time.
It's where I can play golf.
It's not winter because you can't play golf as much. Do you have a favorite smell?
I would say, I really like the mountain air, or maybe those evergreen trees. I just love that.
Do you have a favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood memory would be, I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and my mother used to sew our clothes. And so, I have a memory of us all, the girls dressed the same, and my grandmother making a fuss of all of us looking so cute. And of course, I'm the youngest, so she would grab me and hug me.
And lastly, what's the favorite part of what you do? What's your favorite part of that?
I think my favorite part is getting to know people. And I really get to know people on, on levels that they really have a need, their housing need. And I really like finding out about what's important to them and their need, and making sure that box is checked for them. And, everybody is in different phases of their life. And so then, they just become dear friends of mine. And, they're an extended family, and I love checking in on them year after year and just knowing, how they're coming along or if there's anything I can help them with.
So you must have a very big family because you've had a lot of clients, and of course they come back to you every time they try and sell too. You get a lot of repeat clients, don't you?
And that's the heartwarming part about it, is when they call me again and say, okay, we're expecting a baby, we need a bigger place, or we're now empty nesters and we're tired of the yard work. So yeah, I love that.
So those are the 10 favorites for LaVerne. So the first home for sale that LaVerne is going to talk about is at 10914 West Cocoa Place in Littleton. It's a 5-bedroom, 5-bath, 4,526 square foot home. As of the date of this recording in the middle of March, it's at $1.25 million. And LaVerne, tell us about this property.
This house is literally the essence of Colorado. I mean, we, on a photo shoot, of course, it snowed the previous day. And so we've got our, snow caps there. But this house, we've got it faces the east side. So the back is, we've got the backyard with the western views, the foothills. Really nicely updated. This home, we've got hardwood floors on the whole main floor with a main floor study, large kitchen, and open dining room. We've got a 2-story living or family room, and
got its own
5 bedrooms. So we've got 4 bedrooms upstairs. With one of the bedrooms has its own ensuite. Of course, then we've got the primary.
It looks like we also have a living room with a gas fireplace. Is that correct? And vaulted ceilings?
This is our 2-story family room. So they did update the fireplace area with the gas fireplace. We've got a patio door going out to the back deck. Opens to the kitchen. Again, hardwood floors on the whole main floor. We've got just the most gorgeous windows and views, looking out into the foothills on the western side. The kitchen has really been nicely updated. We've got an island with granite countertops. We've got lots of storage, pantry, very nicely set up. Formal dining room, and there we've got our French doors into the back patio again to the, so we've got 2 doors going out to the back. Fresh paint. This house actually has 2 laundry rooms, one on the main floor. That'll go out to the garage. The other one is up in the primary suite. The primary suite has been really nicely updated. We've got a sliding glass door going out to the upper deck from the upstairs. And that will, again, you've got the foothills views out of that primary suite. The sellers extended the closet. So we've got this giant walk-in closet there out of the master suite. And again, your second laundry room is right there on the upper level.
I'm jealous.
So handy.
I want that.
Now, yeah. We also have, the other bedrooms. You'll get the Jack and Jill bathroom with 2 of the bedrooms. And then the other 4th bedroom upstairs will have its own ensuite.
Pick it up from there saying we'll have a shared bathroom between those 2 bedrooms, because I don't think you can call it Jack and Jill anymore.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
So just pick it up from there. You'll have a shared.
Okay. So upstairs with the 2 of the bedrooms, we'll have a shared bathroom between the 2, which makes the privacy for the bathrooms very nicely. And then again, the 4th bedroom will have its own ensuite. Great for guests. The basement, man, this has just really been nicely tricked out. They've got the wet bar, of course. You've got many egress windows. So you've got the daylight, the natural light going in on that basement. Large enough for games, pool table, lots of recreation. You've got a little movie night space there. Speakers are in there. We've got a 3/4 bathroom and a bedroom with a walk-in closet, also finished down in the basement. This is the deck from the upper level primary suite. I'm telling you, this is just, if this doesn't say Colorado, I don't know what does. Enjoy this in the evening. Enjoy this, after a workout in the afternoon. All year long, you're going to just love that hot tub. And of course, you've got some outdoor living back there with the outdoor grill and patio. You do have a water feature there. And again, this is just right up against the foothills. So you're going to have those foothills views. Again, this was photographed in late February. And no, actually, this was photographed in mid-February.
Is this Greenbelt golf course? What is the?
That is the Greenbelt. That is actually a Greenbelt.
Okay.
And then on the other side, we have houses. And then on the other side of that is 470.
Well, if you'd like,
So this is
a great
going to
home.
be really close for commuting.
This is a great home. If you'd like to see it, feel free to reach out to LaVerne. She'd love to show it to you. And her second home that we're going to show you is over at 6825 South Webster Street, Unit A in Littleton. And it's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,829 square foot home. And it's currently at $515,000 as of the middle of March. So tell us about this townhome. I think it's a townhome.
Oh, this townhome. This townhome is like a perfect lock and leave.
Okay.
This one is going to be, you've got a great living area with the primary bedroom on the main floor. Plus, then you've got 2 additional bedrooms upstairs with this bathroom. So great for maybe, kids that need their space upstairs. Well, you're primary on the main floor.
Mm-hmm.
Really nicely updated, gently lived in, and just really well cared for. This property is just it's just super pleasure to have as a listing because the seller is just so great.
Mm-hmm.
You also have a 2-car attached garage that's going to be on the lower level.
Okay.
And outside from that 2-car attached garage, you're going to have an extra bonus room. I mean, you can have it as an office space or a workout room. The HOA has recently, last year, went in there. They've replaced all the roofs.
Mm-hmm.
They're working on the exterior siding. The just really well cared for all around. You've got a small outdoor patio to enjoy some fresh air. Again, you've got 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, nicely updated, well cared for. And again, the bonus room on the lower level. Lock and leave. You're not going to have any exterior maintenance. You're going to have something that you can just go in and enjoy. And then if you travel a lot, just lock it up.
And there's
Super quiet neighborhood.
there's that 2-car attached. Well, this is also a great property, and if you'd like to see it, feel free to reach out to LaVerne. I'm sure she'd love to show it to you. Thanks for bringing it to us, LaVerne. Well, this has been great, LaVerne. It's been awesome having you on again. Always great to have you on the program, and great to find out a little bit more about the southwest part of the metro area. It's been terrific. And of course, if you want to get a hold of LaVerne, you can reach out to her at the number there on the screen. And if you want to see her on some of the other programs or any of our other 30-plus programs we've done over the last 6+ months, you can do so at the Pro Show, PROS show.com, pros plural.com. And we look forward to seeing everybody here again next week. Thanks, LaVerne.